We're asked if 7/11 is converted into a decimal, what is the 13th digit to the right of the decimal point? So this is a question that relies on your knowledge of converting fractions to decimals. Now, one way to do that is through long division. That is a foolproof method for converting fractions to decimals, but it's often faster to memorize the decimal equivalents of the unit fractions. So what are the unit fractions? Those are the fractions 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, 1/6, 1/7, 1/8, 1/9, 1/10, and 1/11. Now, we can go up 1/12 to 1/13. Those are all unit fractions as well. Basically fractions with 1 is in the numerator and another integer in the denominator. But these are the ones you need to memorize for the test. So, what are the decimal equivalents of these fractions? Well, most people know these first four. So 1/2 is 0.50, 1/3 is 0.33, endlessly repeating. So 0.33333, 1/4 is 0.25, and 1/5 is 0.20. What is 1/6? Well, 1/6, if you think about it, so if you look at a third, let's cut a third like this. So this piece right here is a third of this, let's say, ice cream cake or something like that. And if we cut this piece all the way on the left in half, we get a sixth. Imagine cutting them all in half, and now we have 6 pieces of equal size. So a half of a third is a sixth. Well, how do we find a half of a third? We just do 2 into a third, or 2 into 0.33. 2 into 0.33 is, it's a 16 with 16.5, but if I add another 3, I would add another 6. And if I kept adding 3's, I would have to keep adding 6's up top, which means that half of a third, a sixth, which is a half of a third, is half of 0.33, or 0.16 with a 6 endlessly repeating. 1/7, I don't have a fancy method for this. You just memorize that 1/7 is approximately 0.14. 1/8, we can use the same reasoning we did before. So if you think of, let's divide this now into 4 pieces. So an eighth is actually half of a fourth. How do we know that? Think of some sort of cake again, divided into 4 pieces, and then we cut into 8. We've divided each quarter in half to get an eighth. So an eighth is half of a fourth, or 2 into 0.25. I'll add a 0 to make the math. By the way, there's a point up here. 2 into 0.250 is 0.125. So an eighth, which is half of a fourth, is half of 0.25, which is 0.125. Now a ninth, I'm not going to draw this again, but a ninth is a third of a third. So we can do 3 into 0.33 endlessly repeating, and that's going to give us 0.11 endlessly repeating. Yep, a tenth is, now most people know this one as well, 0.10, and 1/11 is 0.09 endlessly repeating. One way you can memorize this is to see that if you have an 11 in the unit fraction, so 1/11, you've got a 9 in the decimal, so 0.090909. On the other hand, if you got a 9 in the unit fraction, so 1/9, you have an 11 in the decimal, so it's 0.111111. So coming back to our question, what is 7/11? Well, 7/11 is the same as 7 times 1/11. We have 7 of 1/11, which is 7 times 0.09 endlessly repeating. So times 0.090909, which is 0.63 endlessly repeating. In other words, it's 0.636363 ... The question is, what is the 13th digit? We could write them all out, but what you might be able to recognize is that the first, third, fifth, in other words, all the odd digits. So this is the first. Let me do that in another color. Just a second. So let's do that in yellow. So the first digit is 1. The second is 2. The second is 3. Third is 6. The fourth is 3. The fifth is 6. The sixth is 3. So if we get to the 13th, it's going to be an odd digit. All of the odd digits are 6, and therefore the answer here is 6. So just before we finish, the important thing to remember or to memorize for the test are these unit fractions and their decimal conversions. Once you have those memorized, you can convert a lot of fractions to decimals quickly, and also a lot of decimals into fractions pretty quickly.